moving on a little bit from the breakup thing, I was wondering, like, do people experience the same thing when they're rejected? Like, you may not have entered a relationship, but you've been turned down by someone and you still tend to feel really sad. So would you give them the same advice, like following, trying to change your mind, waiting for like...
Yeah, I think, but of course, in the midst of this, in the talking about breakup, we didn't speak about the initiator, like the perpetrator of the breakup. So obviously, the feelings are very different from the person who initiated it and the person who is sort of bearing the brunt of it. But this perspective also, that I am the person who is the initiator, obviously doesn't feel as much of negative emotion as the so-called victim. But even the sense of being victim is a personal choice. Half the time you don't realize that this was not a good relationship and I wasn't going to end it. And I think it's a blessing that the other person ended it, because now I can see the light. I just couldn't see it earlier. Maybe I knew that there was some cheating happening right under my nose, but I thought, I was just in my comfort zone. And the problem with the comfort zone is it appears, it isn't, but it appears just too comfortable. That's why it's called the comfort zone. So we don't want to step out of it, and we don't realize that all the happiness actually is beyond the comfort zone. So it's just so much of perspective, and perspective isn't easy to find because we're just so on the surface. We're bawling and crying and feeling miserable, unable to work, don't want to meet with friends. If it's a very close friend's birthday, no, that's not important because my breakup is important. It's what are we fueling actually? Instead of building on a relationship and building on friendships, we still choose to keep brooding. So I think that perspective is very important. And if you don't seek it, you won't find it.
What is your opinion on staying in touch with your ex or like following them on social media? Should you check in on them every now and then? I think it's pretty natural. Everyone stalks their ex, but I was wondering if it's advice to stay on good terms with them, continue some sort of friendship with them.
See, again, it's a dyad. It's two people. So, and you said everyone stalks their ex. That's not always true, but yeah, it does look like. Sometimes people ask. I wouldn't say people are naive, but the questions seem naive. That I've actually been asked that should I delete his contact or not? I would say, what does a contact or what does a social media account really? How does that really matter that I delete the account, but I'm burning and pining to know what he's up to or she's up to? It's really not about what happens on the outside. It's what you do on the inside. But at the same time, I said the inside is your thoughts. The outside is your behavior. Changing the inside is very hard. So we start with changing the outside. And you ask yourself, what good does this do to me? Again, a very existential question. The who, what, why questions are very useful. Mm-hmm. What is this doing to me? Is it actually helping me? Is it actually helping me to see that he's skiing he's on a ski vacation with his new girlfriend? Does that make me feel better? You've got to heal yourself first. And the healing process, while you have a wound, there's really no point sprinkling salt and lemon juice on it. In what way is stalking helping? Everybody feels that, oh, I wish he was hurting like I did. There's just so many songs and everything. I just happened to be hearing this jazz music the other day. Cry me a river. I cried a river for you, so you cry me a river. And that's just how the emotion is expressed, that I cried a river or I cried an ocean. So this whole thing that I want to know what's going on in this person's life. We had common friends and I like to ask questions about what's going on. Do you even know why you do what you do? And that is where I think mindfulness becomes very important, because when you are stalking, when you are trying to figure out what that person is up to, it is mindless. Anyways, half the time knowing about other people's lives is also mindless gossip. It doesn't actually make a difference to us. Concern and care is different. So why do you need to be in touch with your ex? You're calling the person ex. It's a cross. It's out of your life. So why are we keeping the ex in our life?
sometimes people try to hide their pain by putting up a strong front. So how would you like try to get a person like this to open up to you?
I think, yeah, of course, it depends on who you are in this person's life. I mean, when it's professional, we know how to help people and have a supportive and empathic approach. But I would even advise this to general people, that when you know someone's been through a breakup and you're trying to help them, as well as somebody who is going through it, I think you need to, number one, know that expressing what you feel helps, because bottling it within is just like making you a volcano and you're going to explode, either with sadness or with anger. There are two emotions that we primarily go through. We feel sad and we feel angry, right? It's the stages of grief, like you're in denial, and then you're anger, then you're bargaining, of course, because you want to get it back, and then you go into depression, and then finally you accept. But you've got to see where, in which stage you are, and know that you've got to talk, but again, do not announce it to everybody. You should be tasteful with who you pick to talk about your troubles. Obviously, find somebody who's really empathic, who you can trust, and who's not going to go around talking to other people about how you feel just to make you feel worse. But that happens a lot. So I've seen it happen a lot. People come to me and say that we spoke to this one, and then I told my office and I told my boss, and now they don't think I'm good enough for work. And so we've got to be a little judicious there. But I think talking to a professional is the best, because it's we're taught the art of empathy. We follow it, and this is confidential, and can empower you with the skills to do something about it.
How do you know you're ready to enter a new relationship?
Right. I think this is where healing comes in. It's the breakup is really not as much about the other person. It's all about you. It's all about what you felt, what it's doing to you, how you are thinking about, have you become too cynical? And when you say, I cannot even imagine feeling romantic again, because you're stuck with the cognition that I will always be hurt. And so we have our cognitive distortions in place, that I was wronged, I was hurt, everybody will hurt me, the world is a miserable place, nobody is worthy of trust anymore, and people will use me, people use other people, people are mean, people are bad, people are selfish. All of this is true to a certain extent. Each of these statements are true. You could say the world is an unfair place. I gave it my 100% and someone walked all over me. But I think what you need to learn from the breakup, to kind of see it in a way as normative, that these things happen. I'm not saying it's great that they happen. I'm not saying that the day you get married, the thought should be running in your head that, hey, you know what, this person might just cheat on me. This person might just do something behind my back, and I have to, keep watch. We don't think of these things, but they are there at the back of my mind. The day you join the new job, that I might have a problem with the manager and I might leave this job. You buy your dream home and that I might sell it off sometime. These things happen. I'm not saying we think of it, but I think your gaining closure is very important. And really, closure means how you appraise it and how you literally put a seal on it. This happened. I was wronged. Yes. But I didn't see it. So on and so forth. A therapist can really help you reach these answers. But gain that closure and build your self-sufficiency, that I don't need anybody, to be happy. But if I have someone, I can share my happiness because I'm already such a happy person. And now I want to be with someone to share that happiness. And when you keep looking at the new person will not be nice. The new person will harm me. The new person will cheat on me. You've got to be judicious in your choice, and that's where I say, the 4 key take-homes I would say from this are: get your closure, be self-sufficient, know that this happens and this is normal.